Good afternoon all. Lucas here again. Now, today's a bit different. I've started to think about, quite often I'll talk a backwards way about something random, and at the end of the day, its point of origin is about promoting my business. So, obviously I run a company called Custom Entertainment Solutions. We do, digital billboard installs and all sorts of entertainment things. So I'm going to put that aside today though. I am going to talk about a previous topic. Part of that would be solar, but it's not going to be anything to do with business. So, as everyone who's basically been involved in social media has started to see the uproar about the Swedish girl, Greta, I believe her name is, and her attack on climate change and her, for lack of a better description, eco-demands. Now, there's a couple of sides of the fence to this. Some people, a lot of you green and, your certain directional leaning political parties think that what she said is amazing and it's inspirational, and that she was a torpedo of truth. And then you get your other side of the fence. It's like, oh, she's a kid, oh, she's manipulated, oh, she's directed, oh, climate change isn't real, or climate change is natural, or it's a hoax, or we can't do anything about it. And I sit in a different corner. I sit in the who cares if climate change is a hoax? Who cares if it's not? Who cares if it's natural? Who cares if it's man-made? We live on a planet that has resources that we have to gradually refill. We are running out of fossil fuels. They're a consumable resource. We don't grow more oil. We don't create fields that have oil crops. Yes, I know there's oil fields before we go down this path. But we mine it or drill it, like any other resource. And then once that resource is consumed, it is gone. We do not refill it. We just find another source. We find another well. We do spend billions as a human population finding this resource and then consuming it. And that's the nature of the world, don't get me wrong. But we are getting to a point in society where we are developing the technologies to have a not infinite resource. We do have windmill generators, we do have hydro stations, we do have solar farms. Now, when they were first developed, especially like your wind farms, the wind farm would run a sort of an energy loss, and the fact that the amount of joules and energy consumed in resources to actually build this windmill would need to run for years and years unmaintained to pay for itself energy wise. Now, I'll look into the actual records later and the actual physical numbers, so you're going to shoot me down, go for your life. I don't care about trolls, so have a fun making all sorts of comments, guys. But I think now that we're developing more, that we need to invest more into these places where they do run at an energy profit. And I know that there's limited resources and limited area where we can put them, and obviously for hydro facilities we need to find somewhere that's uphill and has a lot of water. And so my thing is not so much whether Greta was right, whether Greta was wrong. It's the fact that yes, it got people talking, which is a good thing, but it didn't get people talking about, okay, there are problems, what are the solutions. It got people on the defensive of their faction, for lack of a better description. You got your people attacking her because she's a kid and knows nothing, and you've got your people attacking them saying, well, she might be a kid, but it's her generation's gonna suffer. And so she wrote and read a really good speech. She has a future in writing speeches. She was, she delivered it aggressively and meant what she said. Now, do I think that she practiced it? Yes. Who wouldn't? If you're going to go to the UN, you're not going to sit there and read a couple of cue cards and hope you don't slip up. Anyone who's presented a project at work or at school, are you telling me you did not slip up and you did not practice 10 million times? Now imagine going on the world stage and telling me that you didn't practice. So I bear this kid no grudge. Do I think she's being guided by people with their own beliefs and agendas, and as such, that's the environment to which she has become accustomed and truly believes in it? Yes. Do I believe that's her fault? No. Do I believe that she intends good per se? Yes. Now, yes, does she catch a train? Does she eat off of plastic stuff? Does she enjoy modern Western technologies? Yes. She's a teenage kid. Of course she does. I'm in my late 30s, and as you can tell, I don't live overtly healthily. We all judge and defend way too much. But what we cannot deny is we all live on this earth. We all live, we all die. And any one of us who's not entirely selfish likes the idea that either our kids or someone else's, if we can't or don't want to have them, that other people get to enjoy their life and they're not sitting there fighting for the most basic of resources, which is what is gonna have to happen if we do not find a better way of population control, technology control, and energy control. It's what's unavoidable. It's maths. X resources, X plus Y generation consuming resources. Finite resources, building population, greedy personalities. We're human. We like this stuff. We're gonna fight to keep it because we don't want to lose something we like. So a lot of people that got their back up was like, well, you're consuming this stuff. Who are you to judge? She's not one to judge, right? Yes. Did she deliver it in a way that made it judgmental? Yes. She's a kid that hasn't learnt diplomacy. Forgive her. But did she discuss a valid concept that we need to work more to preserve this earth? Fight me on this, but do you want to live on a pile of rubble because you don't maintain your house? Bigger version, guys. You know, we're always going to be greedy. We're always going to have our beliefs. So we're going to be separated by gender, race, religion, all these things that separate us. And you know, you get a lot of people like, you know, hashtag love all, and they've got such wonderful ideas, but there are people who will who will take advantage of these lovely ideas and lead people to think that what they believe is a utopic society is only achievable via their means. And these people really want that. You know, they'll roll with anything to get their utopic society where everything's sort of infinite because we've taken care of ourselves, we've cleaned up our world, and you know, that was the best way to do it. So there are people that genuinely want to help and do the right thing. There are people who will sacrifice some of their beliefs to achieve it because that's the overall big picture, and they can quite often lose themselves and lose the big picture because they thought that they were necessary evils to keep that going. So what I put to anyone out there is, are the resources of this world finite or infinite? Okay, tell me which it is and show me the numbers to back it. But what it comes down to is whether any of this is fake or resolvable or anything. What is the harm in finding ways to better preserve Earth? There's no harm in doing better. That's evolution. And God forbid a few flat earthers and Christians get really upset that I mentioned the word evolution on a round earth, you know, spins around and stuff. By the way, I don't think it's flat, guys, so have a ball trolling me on that one too. But I think that, you know, it's good that she raised these arguments because, you know, as I say, any attention's good attention. But I think it's gotten to the point where that's no longer the case, because everything gets attention. Like, there's so many trends and so many Facebook challenges that's, to build for a cause, and we've forgotten what the actual point was, because it gets attention, but it's not achieving a great deal most of the time. Just like what this girl Greta has said, has made us talk about, the earth and whether or not we should save it, but it's got us more fighting each other over whether or not what she said is valid, and attacking each other and using all sorts of wonderful logical points. Whoever wins, I don't care. But I think that we've forgotten in the midst of this, we have somewhere we live and we need to preserve it. And, you may not be trashing, you may be riding your bike to work, and you may be affecting change. You're the whole one person, power of one. Good on you. And that's an amazing thing for you to do. And that doesn't mean I think it gives you the right to judge others, though, because you might be living in your world going, well, I do the right thing and I tell others to do the right thing, but I'm so much more superior than them because I do the right thing. They will look at you as a flog, because who looks up to someone that thinks they are better than you? I think we just need to work together a bit more and actually look at a way to help our environment, regardless of whether or not we're flying into an unavoidable abyss. What's the harm in just trying to do better? I try to do better on some things. I do better on some things. I fail on others. I don't judge the population because that's where we're at, but I do believe that, judgment aside, we should try. I don't see the harm in trying. I don't see the harm in working as one to try and preserve where we live as a human species with other species that are rapidly declining. When they say climate change, I've been to the reef and I've seen all your documentaries of what it looked like when I was a kid, and that's not what it looked like. It was rather stark, and the water is really warm. I didn't swim in it back in the day where it was like that, so I don't know if it was 1 or 2 degrees cooler and if that's what's killing everything. And I don't know whether, certain plankton populations are fading off because of humans with their rubbish. But I think we should start finding ways to clean the oceans and using the rubbish from the oceans to power plants. Like, we burn coal. Coal burns really efficiently, and it, basically that's what generates our energy. Why aren't we looking for ways to use rubbish for the same effect? We recycle a certain amount of plastic, and then we've got, everyone's sitting there talking about the ocean levels going up, or all these areas that are running out of a certain resource. Or have we ever, when we've burnt any sort of resource, looked at what the ashes have in nutrition content for soil, and whether or not it's biodegradable if you spread it over a vast distance? Like, there's so many elements of research I think should be going on to look at different ways to address our excessive rubbish, whether or not it has to become rubbish. We dig tons and tons and tons of coal and gold and silver and all sorts of things out of the ground. We use it, we throw it out, we can't really get it back out of the plastic. I think we need to research how we can separate the copper and all the really useful resources back from the plastic once we've consumed them. We've gone past the Industrial Revolution. We've learnt space travel, we're doing all sorts of stuff, but let's start actually putting some real coin and real effort. And a lot of these scientists who get paid an absolute fortune to try and think of how to solve this problem, you get all these activists like Greenpeace and the Sea Shepherd, and I think whales personally should be protected. Okay, so I'm not sitting here saying that greenies are all nuts, or there has to be balance. Okay, so you've got daylight and dark, you've got left and right. I think there should be an acknowledgement that one is required at all times to balance the other. So I don't think either side is completely right, and I don't think either side is completely wrong. Both have valid points. But I think we really need to focus on accepting the other side. You don't have to agree with it. Take the bits you do agree with as a logical adult person of whichever 68 genders and 3 million races you feel yourself to be. I don't care if you associate yourself as an Apache helicopter that morning. use whatever brain and programming you have as that Apache to just sit there and think about the logic of what I'm saying. Or, hate on me for saying it, write nasty comments, send me some rude messages, and, I might name and shame and have a good laugh at you, or I might sit there and look all offended, or I might just do exactly what I'm doing now and not give a shit as to what your opinion of me is, because, whatever your opinion of anything is your business. And I'm just putting mine on my page, and you can put your opinion of me on my page. Go for that life. Okay, guys? No hate here. Just expressing an opinion about something that I think affects a shitload of people. Alright? Just food for thought. Catch us later.